Hey guys, it's your girl Samantha here, and today I'm going to be continuing my new series. Let me know what you guys think about my new series. Marriage is not a badge of honor, and this is for people who aren't really loving marriage like that. They're not feeling it. They are very happy with the fact that they are not married. And that could mean you're an Oprah with a Stedman. Like you have someone in your life that's a life partner, but you're not really trying to be married to them for whatever reason. So that's what this series kind of caters to, is those people who choose not to be married because they just don't like marriage. Like me, I'm not a big fan of marriage for several reasons that I will get into over the course of my channel. I've discussed some of those reasons in earlier videos, and I'm just not a fan. And I don't think it's just, I've come to that realization at almost 40 years old that marriage is not, just like having children is not for everybody, just like going to college is not for everybody, being married is not for everybody. So let me go ahead and read this news story that came out of Rolling Stone 15 hours ago. So a woman went missing while camping, then her husband confessed to her brutal murder. Married during the pandemic, Joseph and Emily Ferlazzo were supposed to be celebrating their first wedding anniversary with a scenic Vermont camping trip. The couple left Northville, New Hampshire on Friday, October 15th, driving the converted bus that was also their home, which they lived in on Emily's parents' property. So this kind of already sounds like the Gabby Petito story, like they were doing hashtag van life. And I'm starting to feel like maybe you don't want to be in a little van with this person because you might go a little crazy, because it's hard to, I'm telling y'all, like when I was married almost 7 years. It's hard to get used to someone all up in your space like that. So that's like, see, just even talking about it makes me claustrophobic. But you can't be just like trying to be like everybody else, keeping up with the Joneses, jumping on YouTube, creating your little YouTube channel, and driving around in your van. You're going to go insane, people, I'm telling you. People need their space. So anyways, so they traveled a little more than 2 hours to Bolton, Vermont, a rural town in the western foothills of the Green Mountains, 30 miles east of Burlington and the shores of Lake Champlain. Joseph's sister and her boyfriend had, sorry, one second, I had to update the article to see the rest of the story. Joseph's sister and her boyfriend had rented an Airbnb nearby. But on Monday, October 18th, Joseph, aged 41, returned. Oh my gosh, Lord help me. Look at this age gap. What I feel like this has been like. Okay, I'm not going to say what I want to say. So Joseph returned home. I feel like this has been a quick courtship, and they just kind of jumped the gun and got married too fast. They didn't really know each other, and now they're cooped up in this little van together, going insane. So Joseph, 41, returned home without Emily, age 22. He told her parents they'd gotten in an argument in a parking lot on Saturday. He said he'd restrained her when she tried to leave, and she'd kicked him in the groin. After that, he told her parents he'd left to go to the store, and Emily had told him she was going to get an Uber back to New Hampshire. That was the last he'd heard of her. After speaking with Joseph, Emily's mother and stepfather reported her missing. They told police they knew of 3 or 4 incidents of domestic violence in the couple's relationship, that they'd seen Emily with scratches and bruises, and Emily had told her mom they came from a physical altercation with Joseph. Meanwhile, Joseph drove his red Jeep Wrangler back to Vermont. Just past midnight on October 19th, according to a Vermont police officer's affidavit, someone named Spencer Lemons called 911 saying Joseph had just confessed to killing his wife. Lemons, whose relationship to Joseph has not been specified, said he'd been giving Joseph a ride to his camper, which was parked at a residence in the town of St. Albans, Vermont, so around an hour northwest of Bolton, where Emily and Joseph had been staying. As they approached the bus, Lemons asked Joseph why there were state troopers around the camper. According to an affidavit, Joseph told him it was because Emily was inside and that she was not alive. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Lemons asked if he'd killed her, and Joseph replied yes. At that point, Lemons said he kicked Joseph out of his car and called the cops. Both men left the area, and officers found Joseph later at a nearby gas station. That whole story. That part is weird. So you already have state troopers around your camper because they found the body already, but then he was able to be at a gas station. Like, did he run off somewhere? They said both men left the area. How are they even able to leave the area when the cops are sitting right there? The cops just didn't see them there? This is missing. There's some gaps missed. There's some holes in this story. Under police questioning on Tuesday, October 19th, Joseph revealed their trip had not been the peaceful fall getaway it may have appeared to be. He said that after they'd arrived in Bolton, he and Emily had started to argue. According to his statement, see, this is why you can't be married to somebody that much younger than you, because they're not mature enough. 22? No. I know when I was 22, I was a hothead. Like, now I'm almost 40, and it's like night and day. I'm way more patient and chill compared to how I was at 22. I'm 39 now. So according to his statement, which was released as part of the criminal complaint against him, they spent some time with his sister and her boyfriend before returning to their camper that night and continuing to fight. He says she punched and kicked him in the arm and groin during the altercation. After things calmed down, Emily laid down on the bed in the camper. Joseph told cops she laid there 5 to 10 minutes. Then he grabbed a Glock handgun from a cabinet, jumped on top of her, and fired 2 shots into her head. According to Joseph's statement to police, after he'd shot her, he panicked. He put a garbage bag over her head to collect the blood and moved her into the camper's bathroom. He left her there while he went to breakfast with his sister and her boyfriend in Waterbury, where tourists can visit the original Ben & Jerry's ice cream factory. After breakfast, he moved the camper to a friend's house in St. Albans and dismembered her body. He told police he cut off her hands. Oh my gosh. Whew, okay. He cut off her hands, feet, legs, and head using a handsaw. Once finished, he put the body parts in garbage bags. This is just so grotesque. So once finished, he put the body parts in garbage bags and left them in the camper. Police found 8 bags in the camper, one of which contained what appeared to be a severed human leg, missing the foot, and the rest of which appeared to be human remains. Authorities sent the bags to the medical examiner for autopsy. The case has some parallels to the high-profile case of Gabby Petito, like I just said, which started out as a search for a missing person after Petito's fiancé, Brian Laundrie, returned from a road trip in a converted van without her at the beginning of September. Petito was found strangled to death near a Wyoming campground weeks later. Laundrie is considered a person of interest in her death, but has himself been missing for over a month. Authorities on Wednesday announced the discovery of human remains in their search for him, along with some of his personal belongings, though the remains have not yet been identified, which they have just recently been identified as being Brian Laundrie, which honestly, I knew he was dead. Probably like a day or two after they went searching for him. I just had this feeling that he was dead. So after police videos surfaced showing Petito crying in the back of a patrol car following a physical altercation with Laundrie, the case drew attention to the potential for domestic violence in the hashtag van life community, where a nomadic lifestyle can make it easier for an abuser to isolate a victim from their support systems, and small living quarters can cause tempers to flare. We saw with COVID and the increase with physical violence or family violence, where we saw more reports of escalated violence between family members. Maureen Curtis, Vice President of Criminal Justice Programs at Safe Horizon, a national domestic violence hotline, told Rolling Stone, people were confined to tight spaces. So yes, it's not surprising if I'm traveling around in an RV that could lead to an escalation of violence if there's already some type of DV. Joseph Ferlazzo was arraigned Wednesday and entered a plea of not guilty. When Rolling Stone reached out to the defense attorney assigned to Ferlazzo for comment, Defender General Matthew Valerio replied, Mr. Ferlazzo is innocent as a matter of law with the full panoply of statutory and constitutional rights, and defense is available to him, Valerio said. The client retains that status until such time as the state proves its case beyond a reasonable doubt, or the client decides to waive his rights and change his plea. Whew. So let me know what you guys think about that story. That is wild. I'm just like, ooh. If you have any takeaway I could say I have from that is do not do hashtag van life, because I'm kind of surprised that people would. I think it's really important to remember that the woman that's like the director of the DV shelter was saying that if there's already domestic violence in the relationship, then that probably I really would say advise not to be in close quarters with your abuser, because I actually think like it should be good to be able to do van life, because you kind of like out in the wilderness, you're out in the open, it's beautiful, but you have to remember like it's very isolating, because the only person you're with majority of the time is going to be your partner. So you gotta make sure that person is not crazy, because anything could make somebody like that go off the handle. You know, like I would have never ever tried to do something like that with my ex fiance. He's narcissistic, abusive. Like I wouldn't have did it. I wouldn't have did it, because you never know what's gonna set them off. And now it's like a really bad situation. And then especially being out there in the middle of nowhere, now they think they can kill you and probably get away with it. So I would advise against it. So let me know what you guys think about this story. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.